Most people barely noticed the old dog at the bus stop anymore. At first, people thought he belonged to someone nearby. A worker finishing late shifts would sometimes leave food beside the bench. Drivers passing through the neighborhood slowed down occasionally to look at him. A few people even tried calling animal control. But after a while, the dog simply became part of the street, like the flickering streetlight above the bench or the cracked sidewalk beneath it. Every evening, at almost exactly the same time, he appeared beside the old bus stop near the edge of town. And every single night, he waited there for hours. Rain, cold wind, fog, sometimes even snow. It didn't matter. The dog always came back. And strangely, he never wandered far from the stop itself. Not the nearby alleyways, not the restaurants across the street, not even the small park only a few blocks away. He stayed beside the road, always facing the same direction, always watching, always waiting. The strange part was, he wasn't aggressive. He didn't bark at strangers. He didn't chase cars. Most of the time, he barely reacted to anyone at all. It almost felt like the rest of the world simply didn't matter to him anymore. At first, I only noticed him because my route home passed that bus stop every night after work. And every night, without fail, the dog was there, sitting under the pale yellow light, perfectly still, like a statue. The first few times I walked past him, I assumed he belonged to someone nearby. Maybe his owner worked late. Maybe he escaped from a yard during the evenings. But after seeing him there night after night, I started realizing something wasn't right. One evening, heavy rain covered most of the street in reflections. The entire neighborhood looked empty. But when I turned the corner near the stop, there he was again, completely soaked, still staring toward the road. I remember slowing down that night. The dog looked exhausted, older than I originally thought. His fur was messy and uneven from sleeping outside. One ear bent slightly downward. And his eyes, honestly, his eyes looked tired in a way that felt almost human. Not scared, not angry, just waiting. The next evening, I brought food with me. Nothing special, just leftover chicken and some water inside an old plastic container. When I placed it beside the bench, the dog finally looked at me directly for the first time. For a second, I thought he might run away, but he didn't. He simply stared at me silently, then slowly walked toward the food. He ate only a few bites, drank some water, and then, almost immediately, returned to the exact same spot beside the curb, still watching the road. That was the moment I realized something. The dog wasn't staying there because he liked the location. He was waiting for someone. After that, seeing him became part of my routine too. Every night after work, I stopped near the bus stop for a few minutes. Sometimes I brought food, sometimes just water. Sometimes I simply sat on the bench quietly beside him. And little by little, the dog started trusting me. Not completely, but enough to stop moving away when I sat nearby. Some nights, cars passed without slowing down. Their headlights briefly illuminated the dog's face before disappearing into darkness again. And every single time, the dog reacted. His ears lifted slightly, his body leaned forward. Like part of him genuinely believed the next car might finally stop. But it never did. And after the lights disappeared, he always sat back down again, still waiting. Weeks passed like that, and honestly, I started thinking about him even during the day. Something about the routine felt wrong. No animal waits like that without a reason. One night, I finally asked someone about him. Near the bus stop, there was a small gas station that stayed open late. An older man usually worked there during the evenings. I remember casually mentioning the dog while paying for coffee. The man became quiet immediately. Then he looked through the window toward the road outside. "Yeah," he said softly. "I remember when he first started showing up." According to him, years earlier, an older man used to ride the last evening bus home almost every night. Apparently, the stray dog began following him during one winter. Nobody knew exactly where the dog came from, but eventually, the old man started feeding him near the stop every evening after getting off the bus. At first, the dog kept his distance, but over time, people started seeing them together constantly. The old man would sit on the bench for a few minutes after work, and the dog would wait beside him quietly under the streetlight. Same place, same time, every night. The gas station worker smiled faintly while remembering it. Then his expression slowly changed. "The old man stopped coming last year," he said quietly. I didn't say anything. Outside, cars continued passing through the rain. The old worker looked back toward the dog again. But the dog never understood why. Something about hearing those words hit me harder than I expected, because suddenly, everything made sense. The waiting, the staring down the road, the way the dog reacted to every pair of headlights. He wasn't guarding territory. He wasn't lost. He genuinely believed someone was still coming back for him. After that conversation, I started arriving earlier each night, and strangely, the dog slowly began changing too. At first, he only acknowledged me when I brought food. Then eventually, he started walking toward me before returning to the curb again. And one cold evening, for the first time, he sat beside the bench instead of directly near the road. Not close enough to touch me, but closer than before. It felt small, but somehow important. Winter slowly arrived after that. The nights became colder, the roads emptier, and somehow the dog still returned every evening. Snow gathered along the sidewalk edges. Wind pushed trash through the empty street. But under the dim yellow streetlight, the dog remained there almost every night, still waiting. One evening, a terrible storm hit the city unexpectedly. Heavy rain slammed against windows hard enough to wake people during the night. Branches fell across roads. Power flickered throughout parts of the neighborhood. And honestly, for the first time, I thought maybe the dog wouldn't come back. But when I reached the bus stop later that night, my stomach dropped immediately. The bench was empty. I looked around desperately through the rain. Nothing. No movement near the sidewalk. No shape beneath the streetlight. And for a moment, I genuinely thought something terrible had happened to him. Then finally, I spotted him across the street beside an old wall near the gas station, curled tightly against the storm, shivering violently. I slowly walked toward him through the rain. The dog looked up weakly as I approached, and for the first time since I'd known him, he didn't look toward the road at all. He only looked at me. I sat beside him quietly against the wall while rain poured around us. Cars hissed across wet streets somewhere far away. Thunder echoed above the rooftops. And slowly, the dog moved closer, until eventually, he rested part of his body against my leg. just slightly, but enough. I remember sitting there for almost an hour that night, neither of us moving very much. And somewhere during the storm, I realized something. Maybe the dog still missed the old man. Maybe part of him always would. But slowly, he was starting to understand something too. Some people disappear forever, but others stay. A few weeks later, the dog stopped sitting directly beside the curb. Instead, he waited near the bench with me, still watching the road sometimes, still reacting occasionally to certain buses, but less than before. And eventually, when I arrived at the stop each evening, the dog started walking toward me first. Not the street, me. Even now, sometimes late at night, I still pass that old bus stop after work. The street light still flickers. Cars still pass through the darkness. And sometimes, I still see the old dog sitting quietly beneath the light. But these days, when headlights appear in the distance, he only watches them for a moment before walking back toward the bench beside me. Like somewhere deep down, he finally understood he didn't have to wait alone anymore.